Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome from the Ford stand at Le Mans. At this time, it's my very great pleasure to welcome the Executive Chairman of Ford Motor Company, Mr. Bill Ford. Bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming today. And before I say anything else, we're back. We're back at Le Mans, and we're back with a supercar that we're going to show you in just a minute. You know, when I think back on my family and also the history of Ford and racing, I have to go all the way back to the very beginning, to 1901, which is when my great-grandfather won the famous sweepstake race. What was interesting about that was he'd already failed once at Ford Motor Company. This was his second attempt. And he created a car which he raced against a much more experienced racer, and which had 3 times the horsepower that his car had. But he won. And he won because of the innovation he put into the car. He had a dentist make ceramic spark plugs, which made the whole car run much smoother. Surprised everyone, put the name Ford on the map, and then the following year, with the famous car, the 999, he won the backing to eventually start what we now know as Ford Motor Company. So it's not a stretch to say that Ford was literally born on a racetrack. And then I was 9 years, well, I won't bore you with all my racing memories, but I was with my father when he drove the pace car at Indianapolis. And that was one of the great events in 1968, I believe. But I was 9 years old when my Uncle Henry Ford II challenged his good friend Johnny Agnelli to race here at Le Mans. And of course, you all know the rest of that story. In 1966, I was 9, and I've never saw a more thrilling thing in my life than the Fords finishing 1, 2, 3. And I think I knew at that moment that I would spend my life at Ford Motor Company. As a 9-year-old, there was probably nothing that left a bigger impression on me than that moment. So Ford's history in racing is legendary, and across many circuits and across the globe. And I'm very proud of our past, and I love it. But I'm also much more interested in what happens next. So now here we are, fast forward from '66. Next year will be the 50th anniversary. And as you all know, we're back. And we're back with a car, we're back with a partner in Chip Ganassi that we feel just great about. This project has been one that, you know, from the first time that I saw the prototype, well, before it was even prototype, first time I saw the early rendering of this vehicle, I was in love. And, you know, we had the great GT for our centennial that we did, but really it was that GT, the 2003, was really a recreation of the GT40. It wasn't meant to be a modern race car. This vehicle, as you'll hear this afternoon, really from the very beginning was born to race. So I cannot wait for next year. I'm actually excited about tomorrow because I'll be the starter for the race. That'll be great. But next year will eclipse anything, because to be back at Le Mans with this car and with the partner that we have couldn't be better. And to tell you a little bit more about it, Mark Fields, our CEO.
All right, thanks, Bill. And good afternoon, everybody. And I also want to welcome everybody online, including all of our fantastic Ford team members around the world. We're glad we could share this very historic day with you. You know, racing, as Bill just said, it's part of our heritage. And it actually stokes that competitive spirit in us and that drive to win. And it's that drive to win that drive all the men and women at Ford Motor Company every single day. But it also is a hotbed for innovation. And innovation is so important to our past as a company, but even more important to our future as we go forward. And the GT is all about innovation through performance. And of course, we're doing it here at the most storied circuit. And as Bill mentioned, we have a long history here. Even I think in 1923, when the first race was put on here, we had a Model T that actually participated in that race. Now, the Ford GT, as Bill said, has a great heritage. So it's a nod to our heritage, but more importantly, it's also lighting a path to our future. because we talk a lot about a couple of our priorities in the company, which is around delivering product excellence with passion and driving innovation in every part of our business. And today, we're going to talk about both of those. Of course, the Ford GT is our ultimate supercar, and it's our ultimate Ford. And it really showcases the technical innovations that the team has been working on literally over the last decade, and then how we take those innovations and bring them across our entire product lineup. So some of the things that we're innovating in, lightweighting, so important for us. One of our recent products, the F-150, which is a very important product for us back in North America. We've had a very innovative approach on aluminum. We've taken more than 700 pounds out of the vehicle, so it provides customers more capability and great fuel economy. And guess what? It's an absolute smash hit in the marketplace right now, and we can't build them fast enough for our customers. Things like 3D printing, which allow us to produce new components, test new prototype materials very, very quickly. And it allows us to iterate in those innovations at a much faster clock speed than we ever have before. The intake on the 24 hours of Daytona winter had a 3D printed intake. And of course, the intake on this vehicle plus other components were also 3D printed. Another very important innovation at our company is around Ecoboost technology and our Ecoboost engines. And essentially what that does, it gives customers great performance and great fuel economy. And we've put that across our entire lineup, everything from our 1-liter Ecoboost, which has won the International Engine of the Year award for 3 years in a row, to our 2.7-liter Ecoboost, which is in our new F-150, and of course to the 3.5-liter Ecoboost, which is going to power the Ford GT supercar. And we've sold over 5 million vehicles with our Ecoboost powertrains over the last couple of years. So very important innovation. These are just a few of the examples that the men and women at Ford are working on at innovation every single day at our company. And we feel that we're about to enter one of the most transformative periods in the history of the automotive industry. And we clearly understand that the winners are going to be the innovators and also the disruptors, and those companies who are absolutely dedicated to breaking with tradition and finding new solutions for customers. Breaking through not only technology for a certain set of customers, but a breakthrough in offering technology for millions of customers. That's who we are as a company, going right back to our founder, Henry Ford. And again, we are pushing ourselves, again, to think like a startup, and it's energizing the entire company. And the Ford GT supercar is about taking some daring, bold moves in innovation. And it really energizes the passions of all of our people at Ford, but also all the fans at Ford around the world. And to tell you why we think the Ford GT is going to work so well in racing and here at Le Mans, I'd like to turn it over to Raj to tell you a little bit more.
Thanks, Mark. Well, a really exciting day for us at Ford Performance, and one that we've been waiting for a long time. When we developed the GT from the outset, we wanted to make sure that we were developing a car that was going to be capable of bringing Ford back to GT racing. And these innovations that we have in the car, we're already starting to see their capabilities as we're testing both the road car and the race car. When we were designing it, we had 3 key areas that we thought were going to be critical for success on the track. So first, aerodynamics. And as you can tell from the road car, we spent a tremendous amount of time working the aerodynamics to make sure that we were going to generate incredible levels of downforce, yet very low levels of drag, especially for tracks like Le Mans here. Second, Ecoboost Power. Twin turbocharged, direct injection, V6, 3.5-liter Ecoboost Power is going to be key. And this engine is a tremendous combination of a compact package, of light weighting, of incredible performance, but efficiency as well. And we've been fortunate enough to test this engine for 2 years now in the Tudor United Sports Car Series with Chip, and have been really proud to have won 12 Hours of Sebring as well as the Rolex 24 with this engine. Finally, light weighting. We've been absolutely obsessing about the weight in the road car, and the race car is going to take that to the next level. So these 3 areas together, we think we're going to have a compelling race car that can deliver on the performance and the wins that its predecessor, the GT40, had. So, although we're here today at Le Mans to make this announcement, our involvement goes far beyond just that. Today we're announcing that we'll compete in the full WEC Series, as well as the Tudor United Sports Car Championship. So we're grateful to the ACO, to the FIA, to IMSA for their faith in us, and we hope to repay that faith by delivering performance to the standards of competitors like Porsche, like Ferrari, like Chevrolet, like Aston Martin. We are also welcoming some really fantastic partners to this project: Multimatic Motorsports, Roush Yates Engines, Michelin, Castrol, Forza, Sparco, Brembo, and of course, Chip Ganassi Racing. So with that, to tell us a little bit more about the program, I want to welcome a true racing legend, Chip Ganassi.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. When we first started talking in 2013 about returning Ford to sports car racing, we were already in a very successful program with another manufacturer at that time. But for those of you that know our organization, you know we believe highly in two things: innovation and new challenges. And although at the time we only announced an IMSA Daytona prototype program, three things really appealed to us about getting involved in this program. One, working with Ford again on all the appealing products and technologies they're bringing to the market. Two, taking on the innovative challenge of bringing the 3.5-liter Ecoboost to racing and to sports cars. That's a big thing. Three, working with our friends at Ford to return with the company on its 50th anniversary here at Le Mans. You know, at Ganassi Racing, we've won 17 major championships over the years, over 160 races. We've won the Indianapolis 500, the Daytona 500, the 24 Hours of Daytona, and the 12 Hours of Sebring. But we've never run at Le Mans. And I can tell you, we want to win this race. And when Ford presented us that opportunity, a chance to compete here at the largest sports car stage in the world, well, what race team wouldn't want to be a part of that? Will it be a challenge? Absolutely. We could not be with better partners than Ford. We spent the last year and a half getting a better understanding of each other's strengths. We're jointly developing the engine that will be in the race car and the road car. And we're very proud of that. And as Raj said, you heard some of the results we've had. Our plan is to debut a new WEC team, as well as an IMSA GT program in 2016. And this car right here will see its first competition in January at the 24 Hours of Daytona. Now, we're not prepared to announce our driver lineup quite yet, but I can tell you there's quite a line forming outside the door right now. Rest assured there are plenty of drivers for this program. But until then, we have our core leadership team here this weekend. We're leading our preparation for this program. And we're looking forward to coming back here in 2016, ladies and gentlemen, a year from now. Thank you very much. And I'll throw it back to Bill.
Thank you, Chip. Well, before we get to the real star of the show, I'd like to have you watch this video that I think really captures the spirit of our return to Le Mans.
Le Mans, 1966. Henry Ford II attended and was given the honor of signaling the famous Le Mans start. Man against man, machine against machine. And the black number 2 Ford still holds the lead. First place, the number 2 Ford GT. Second place, the number 1 Ford GT. Third place, the number 5 Ford GT. An authoritative win for the American challengers.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the Ford press conference at this time. I'd like to ask the executive team to come up and stand around the car for your photographs and images. And I would like to thank you all for your attendance and wish you a good day. Thank you very much.
And round to me, if you would, that's great. Thank you. Can we make group of 6 smaller rather than chip? Thank you. Bill and Mark to me, please. Thank you. Oh, I got people. That's it. Excellent. And just Bill, thank you very much. Thank you very much.